Imagine hearing a soft noise behind the wall, as if someone were breathing right there, just a few inches from you, and realizing that no matter how much you try to ignore it, the sound always comes back, always closer, always clearer. Have you ever felt that strange sensation of not being alone, even when locked inside your own home? Ever had the impression that someone was watching your every move, hidden somewhere you can't see? Today, you're going to hear real stories from ordinary people, just like you and me, who discovered far too late that something was living with them. Something that walked in the dark, waited in silence, and knew every detail of their lives. And the scariest part, none of what they felt was their imagination. Get ready for tension that grows with every second, and for the unsettling realization that this could have happened to you. If you've ever heard cracks in the middle of the night, light footsteps in the hallway, or faint voices coming from somewhere in the house, and tried convincing yourself it was just the wind, this video will make you question everything. Here, you won't hear legends or exaggerations, but real accounts from people who discovered that the danger wasn't outside, but hidden inside walls, attics, and spaces where no one should be. Stories that reveal how seemingly impossible situations can be completely real, and how the unknown can get close without you noticing. Watch until the end, because with each minute you'll understand why these people ignored the signs, and why you might have ignored yours too. The first story begins with a young woman who spent weeks trying to ignore an almost imperceptible whisper coming from the wall beside her bed. It was so faint she thought it was just the late night talking to itself. But the sounds began to form a rhythm, almost reacting to her movements. Sometimes it felt like slow, deep breathing, almost synchronized with hers. Other times, it was light scratching, like nails dragging against wood. She pressed her ear to the wall and instantly everything went silent. Until she moved away. That was when she realized it wasn't random. It was conscious. Something was there, listening and responding to her every gesture. As the days passed, the sounds grew louder. Her bedroom became impossible to rest in. The feeling of being watched grew so strong she even changed the position of her bed, trying to escape that wall. But no matter where she moved, the same invisible weight followed her. One day, desperate, she called a professional to check for leaks, rodents, anything that could explain the sounds. When the worker removed part of the wall, he found something that made the air leave the room: food wrappers, an improvised mattress, and dirty clothes hidden inside. A man had been living behind the wall for months, and she had never noticed. The terror stopped being psychological and became brutally real. While you try to imagine what it's like to sleep with someone just inches away from you, hidden behind wooden plaster, one unavoidable question arises: how many times have you ignored noises because you assumed nothing serious could be happening? Many people do, and some pay dearly for trusting the normalcy of their own home. And the most disturbing part of this first story is realizing that if she hadn't asked for help that day, she might never have discovered what truly shared her room. That revelation alone is enough to rob anyone of sleep. But the next story is even more unsettling, because in it, the wall didn't just make sounds, it answered. A man living alone began hearing small knocks in his living room, always at the same time. He decided to play along. He knocked twice on the wall, and to his shock, two knocks came back. He assumed it was a bored neighbor until he realized that side of the wall didn't adjoin any apartment. Still, the knocks continued. Sometimes they matched his rhythm, other times they seemed irritated, as if something on the other side was getting impatient. Nights became unbearably long. He would leave the TV on to drown out the sounds, but every time the apartment fell silent, the responses returned. It was as if the wall was observing him, waiting for the exact moment he lowered his guard. The breaking point came when he tried recording the knocks with his phone. He stood still, completely motionless, waiting for it to happen again. When the responses finally came, he felt his body turn cold. He rushed to check the recording, thinking he would finally have clarity. But there were no knocks in the audio. There was something far worse, a faint voice, almost a whisper, telling him not to open the wall. The phrase repeated as if someone was speaking directly into the microphone. He didn't sleep that night. The next day, he packed his things and left, without looking back. To this day, in every new place he lives, he avoids silent walls. And the strangest thing is that sometimes, even in completely different homes, when he knocks twice, he still gets the knocks back. As unbelievable as these stories may seem, there are real and terrifying explanations behind many of them. In several parts of the world, cases of people secretly living inside walls, attics, and hidden spaces have been documented by police. They're called phantom tenants, individuals who hide for weeks or months without being detected. Additionally, some buildings conduct sound in strange ways, making it seem like noises come from within walls when they're actually traveling through ducts, structural gaps, or hollow surfaces. But none of the explanations completely erase the fact that some accounts remain unanswered. And those are the ones that scare the most, because they leave room for the unknown and for the imagination. The third story tells of a man who began noticing small things out of place. First, missing utensils, then food disappearing from the fridge. He thought it was distraction or accumulated exhaustion. But over time, odd details started repeating. Lights turned off, doors slightly ajar, soft footsteps in the ceiling during the night. The feeling of being watched grew heavy in the air. Convinced something was wrong, he installed a hidden camera in the kitchen, pointed at the door. A week later, he reviewed the recordings. What he saw was not something the human mind is ready to process. In the video, a woman slowly descended through the ventilation duct in the middle of the night. She stepped onto the kitchen counter with complete familiarity, as if she had done it many times before. She walked calmly through the house, drank water, ate, rummaged through drawers, then disappeared back into the duct as if she had never been there. The man felt the floor vanish beneath him. He called the police immediately. When they arrived, they found folded clothes, improvised bedding, and food scraps inside the house's structure. The woman had been living there 4 months, observing his routine, his schedules, his every move. And she was only discovered because that night, she came down a few minutes earlier than usual. When police removed the woman, the man realized many small signs finally made sense. Objects out of place, shadows seen from the corner of his eye, closed doors appearing open. It was as if she had become part of the house without him knowing. This type of story happens more often than people imagine. And the idea that someone can live hidden so close, so deeply inside your home, creates a sense of vulnerability no security system can fix. After all, how do you protect a house from something that's already inside? And how many times have you heard noises you chose to ignore? By the end of these stories, it's impossible not to wonder whether the noises we hear at night are as innocent as we assume. The truth is, the unknown can be closer than we think, and the home, no matter how safe it feels, can hide secrets that only reveal themselves when it's too late. Maybe you've already heard something you preferred to forget. Maybe a door closed on its own and you blamed the wind. But what if it wasn't? What if what you heard wasn't outside, but inside the walls you see every day? If you want more stories that reveal what really hides in the dark, just let me know in the comments. And until then, you might not want to knock on the wall. Because if something knocks back, you won't want to know who it is.